A monster? Did you know to kill a monster?
What makes you think I kill monsters?
You seem like you killed.
Do you believe in monsters? A monster didn't eat your parents.
So the movie opens with Aurora, a young girl living in a tall apartment building in New York City. And right away, something feels off because Aurora refuses to sleep in her bedroom. At first, that sounds normal. Kids are scared of their rooms all the time. Nightmares, strange noises, shadows. But Aurora's fear is different because it's very specific. Her fear builds until she starts screaming, forcing her parents to rush into the room. And when they arrive, Aurora doesn't ask to be comforted. She warns them. She tells them not to step on the floor. That detail matters because floors are supposed to be safe. And yet, Aurora is completely focused on that one rule. Don't touch it. She insists that if they do, whatever is under the bed will attack them, that it will eat them. Her parents respond the way most parents would. They assume she's having a nightmare. They reassure her. They tell her there's nothing there. And then they step onto the floor anyway. From their perspective, this makes sense. They don't see anything wrong. So they calm her down and leave, believing the problem is solved. Aurora doesn't sleep. Instead, she leaves her bedroom and lies down in the balcony. Sleeping on a balcony floor feels safer to her than being in her own bed. After some time passes, she looks back into her room. And that's when the movie quietly shifts. The dust on the floor isn't spread out anymore. It's gathering, slowly pulling itself into a small, harmless-looking shape. It looks like a bunny. Aurora doesn't panic. She just watches it. Then she closes her eyes and makes a wish. When she opens her eyes, a glowing firefly appears and floats gently through the apartment, inviting her to follow it. The firefly floats through the apartment, calm and gentle. Aurora follows it as it drifts through the hallways and down toward the building's mailboxes. It stops at one specific mailbox. And that's the moment where the movie tells you this isn't just a nightmare story anymore. So after the firefly leads Aurora to the mailbox, the movie introduces the man who owns it. And right away, he's framed as someone different. He's quiet. He keeps to himself. He doesn't interact with anyone more than he has to. Aurora watches him carefully, not in a scared way, but in a focused way, like she's studying him. When he leaves, she follows. This is important because at this point, Aurora isn't acting like a typical kid in a horror movie. She's cautious, but she's also curious. She keeps her distance. She hides when she needs to. She doesn't rush. Later that night, she follows him again, this time outside the building. And the movie makes a point of showing how alert this man is. He's constantly scanning his surroundings, checking reflections, looking over his shoulder. At one point, he senses something and suddenly turns around. Aurora barely manages to hide. That moment does two things at once. It shows us that Aurora is taking a real risk, and it shows us that this man is trained. He's not just paranoid. He's aware. When he continues walking, Aurora follows again. Eventually, he leads her into Chinatown, where there's a loud, colorful festival happening. And this is a smart contrast. Everything up to this point has been quiet and tense. Now suddenly, there's music, crowds, movement, color. Aurora blends in by putting on a mask. The movie is literally having her hide in plain sight. She's surrounded by people, but she's completely alone in what she's about to see. She climbs onto a rooftop and watches from above. And this is where things get strange. The man confronts something that Aurora immediately understands as a monster. A huge creature that looks like a dragon. There's no build-up, no explanation. The fight just happens. And it's fast. The man doesn't hesitate. He doesn't struggle emotionally. He doesn't react like this is impossible. He fights the creature efficiently, brutally, like this is something he's done before. And that's the key difference between how Aurora and the audience are meant to read this scene. To Aurora, this confirms everything. Monsters are real, and this man kills them. But to the audience, something feels off. The fight is too clean, too controlled. This doesn't feel like someone encountering the impossible. It feels like routine. Aurora witnesses the entire thing. She doesn't look away. She just absorbs it. And when it's over, she follows him back toward their apartment building. By the end of this segment, the movie has quietly locked in a dangerous assumption. Aurora now believes she knows what's happening in the world. Monsters exist. This man deals with them, and that belief is going to drive every decision she makes next. The problem is, the movie hasn't confirmed whether she's right. And that gap between what Aurora believes and what's actually happening is where everything starts to go wrong. So after everything Aurora has seen that night, the movie cuts back to the apartment, and her parents try one last time to reassure her. They insist there's nothing dangerous in her room. They talk to her like adults who are tired and want this to be over. Her mother gently tells her to stop sucking her thumb. They're treating this like a childish habit, not a warning. They say goodnight and leave. Aurora responds with a calm goodbye. And that calmness is unsettling because it doesn't feel like relief. It feels like resignation, like she's already accepted something they haven't. Once the apartment goes quiet, the movie slows way down. Aurora hears creaking beneath the floorboards. At first, it's subtle, just enough to make you question whether it's real. Then it gets louder, more deliberate, and then her parents start screaming. The movie doesn't show what's happening to them. The next morning, Aurora wakes up to silence. She doesn't run through the apartment calling for her parents. She moves carefully. She avoids touching the floor. She uses an ottoman to cross the room, still following the rules she was told not to break. That detail is heartbreaking because it shows she still believes she can survive if she does everything right. There's no response when she calls out. No sign her parents are still there. When she returns to her bedroom, a grape accidentally falls onto the floor. And this is where the movie finally removes any doubt. Something beneath the floor reacts instantly. It grabs the grape, spits it out violently, and smashes a lamp. The bed is pulled downward. The blankets are yanked into the floor. The monster is real. Aurora is trapped for a moment before it retreats. Later, she wakes up believing it was all a nightmare, until she notices the broken lamp still lying on the floor. That's the confirmation. This wasn't imagined. This wasn't symbolic. Something happened here. And by ending the segment that way, the movie makes something very clear. Aurora wasn't wrong. She was never wrong. The only mistake was that no one listened to her. Later that day, the movie jumps to something that feels almost mundane. Aurora goes to church, and when the donation plate reaches her, she grabs it and runs. It's quick, but it tells you a lot. Aurora isn't thinking in adult terms like theft or consequences. In her mind, this is just problem solving. She needs money, and this is where the money is. About an hour later, the movie cuts to the neighbor checking his mailbox. He finds several letters, and one of them stands out. It's signed with just an initial. Inside is a job offer, a contract to kill someone. And this is where the movie quietly links two worlds together. Aurora stealing money from church, and this man making a living off violence are now part of the same chain of events. Neither of them sees what they're doing as evil. They both think they're handling a situation the only way they know how. And from here on out, those two choices are going to collide. The neighbor returns to his apartment and begins counting the money. A knock interrupts him. Aurora stands in the doorway. She asks if the money is enough. He ignores her at first. When he finally speaks, he asks her name. She tells him her name is Aurora and asks for his in return. He refuses. After counting the money, he says it amounts to roughly $300 and asks where she got it. Aurora explains that she stole it from church and asks if it is enough to kill the monster under her bed. Confused, the neighbor asks how she knows he kills monsters. Aurora explains that she saw him kill a dragon in Chinatown. He dismisses her story and insists monsters do not exist. Aurora firmly disagrees and tells him that the monster ate her parents. The neighbor asks her to show him where the monster is. Aurora leads him into her apartment. Along the way, he asks what she was doing while her parents were being killed. She says she was hiding under her blanket. In her parents' bedroom, the neighbor looks around and points out that there should be blood if a monster killed them. Aurora explains that the creature eats people whole and leaves nothing behind. As he continues looking, he notices a bullet casing on the floor and pockets it. He also sees long claw marks etched into the furniture. Despite this, he remains doubtful. He questions how such a violent event could happen without anyone hearing it. Aurora explains that the creature eats everything, including screams. The neighbor suggests going to the police, but Aurora says she does not know how to explain her situation. With a tired sigh, the neighbor insists he never killed monsters or anyone else. He asks why a monster would kill her parents simply for stepping on the floor. Aurora does not answer. The neighbor tells her that monsters do not behave that way and asks her to leave. Later, the neighbor meets with his handler, Laverne, who manages his work as a professional killer. He shows her photos of Aurora's parents and explains they were professionally killed, with no blood left behind. He adds that their daughter believes they were eaten by a monster. Laverne asks if he is looking for a monster. He replies that the monster was actually looking for him and broke into the wrong apartment. When Aurora's parents saw it, they were killed. Since the girl did not see its face, it let her live. Laverne agrees to look into it, but is more concerned that Aurora has seen his face. The neighbor firmly says he will not kill the girl. That night, the neighbor hears the elevator and realizes what is happening. He breaks into Aurora's apartment and warns her that the monster is coming. He hides her in the closet and prepares for an attack. An assassin enters. During the fight, the neighbor drops his knife but manages to kill the attacker. However, he is badly injured and loses consciousness. Meanwhile, another assassin enters Aurora's bedroom and fires at the bed. She then spots Aurora hiding in the closet. She braces for death. Instead, she hears a deep growl and the sounds of the monster killing the assassin. The neighbor later wakes up and rushes to Aurora's room. He asks if she is all right. She nods. He asks if anyone else was there. She nods again and says the monster ate her. The neighbor checks under the bed, but finds nothing. He drags the dead body into the bathroom and prepares to dispose of it. Aurora asks what he is doing. He explains he is draining the body to make disposal easier. Aurora suggests leaving the body for the monster. He refuses. When he finishes, he asks if she wants to help wrap the remains. She agrees. Aurora asks who the dead man was. The neighbor says he was a killer. She asks if he came to kill the monster. The neighbor finally snaps and tells her that her parents were not eaten by a monster. Aurora asks if someone cut her parents into pieces. He says no and explains there was no monster in Chinatown. Those were men. He insists her parents were killed by people trying to kill him. Aurora accuses him of lying to make her feel better. There's a knock at the door. A woman introduces herself as Brenda from Child Care Services. The neighbor pretends to be Aurora's foster parent. Brenda implies she knows he is lying. After she leaves, the neighbor realizes she was not a real social worker. At the same time, Brenda tells her partner the man is not Aurora's guardian. Aurora tells the neighbor that all her families have been eaten. She explains the monster came from a wish she made on a shooting star. She admits she wished for her parents to disappear because they were unkind. She later regretted it. She explains that the monster eats good families because it is trying to eat her, since she believes she is wicked and undeserving of a family. The neighbor reassures her that she is not wicked. Later, the neighbor meets Laverne again. She suggests he himself may be the monster. Aurora arrives and accuses him of planning to leave her. Laverne is hostile and dismissive. The neighbor takes Aurora to Chinatown. A man follows them. He asks if Aurora is his daughter. The neighbor says no. Aurora says yes. They leave the restaurant, but the man and his henchmen follow closely behind. Brenda later returns, revealing she is FBI and has been investigating Aurora's families. She explains that thumb-sucking deterrent was found beneath the floorboards, suggesting something beneath the bed. Criminals from a syndicate storm the apartment. Gunfire erupts. Brenda is wounded. The monster emerges and kills attackers. FBI agents arrive and ignore warnings not to touch the floor. They are also killed. So near the end of the movie, everything finally crashes together. During the chaos in the building, the neighbor is dragged under the floor by the monster, and for a moment, it looks like he's done. This should be his death scene, but it isn't. He survives because of the deterrent, and that detail matters because it tells us something important. The monster isn't unstoppable. It has rules. It isn't just attacking randomly. Then Laverne arrives, and unlike the neighbor, she never listens to Aurora. She dismisses her completely. She treats her like a problem, not a person. And almost immediately, the monster kills her. The person who listens survives. The person who doesn't. And this is where the movie finally stops dancing around the truth. We learn that the monster was never something that crawled in from outside. It was created by Aurora's wish. A wish she made as a child without fully understanding what she was asking for. She wanted her parents to disappear. And that guilt shaped everything. The monster eats families because Aurora believes she doesn't deserve one. It never wanted to eat her. It was protecting her, the only way a child's logic knows how. Removing threats. Removing anything that might hurt her again. That's why it never attacks Aurora. Once Aurora understands this, something shifts. She stops being afraid. She accepts what she created. And that acceptance is the real ending of the movie. Aurora and the neighbor leave the building together. Not because everything is fixed, but because they finally understand what's been happening. The monster follows them silently. It doesn't disappear, because this isn't a story about defeating a monster. It's about living with the consequences of a wish that came true in the worst possible way. And that's what makes the ending unsettling. The danger is gone, but the monster remains. Not as a villain, but as a reminder of guilt, of protection, and of what happens when a child's fear is powerful enough to reshape the world around her.
What did you see?
Under my bed.
What do your parents think about monsters? Do they believe in it?
Is that enough?
You're a monster. If you believe in you,